Yeah, I miss that moment, but maybe we can do it sometimes again in the future.
Yeah. That's
So, are we still waiting for the others?
Yeah. We are actually still waiting for the others to join the Zoom, as well as we are waiting for
People are in
the,
one class.
yeah, they are one class,
So
Mbak
how many
Ika,
people are there?
40, I believe, 44,
44.
45, yeah.
Wow, so big class. Such a
Yeah,
big class.
second batch of the International Undergraduate Program. So we are waiting also the confirmation from our laboratorium teams to make sure that this recording Zoom also will be live streaming via YouTube.
Like, do we have to live stream it on YouTube as well? Because it's
Yeah.
Yeah, we have sent your posters everywhere, so people may want to see you, Ika. You're nowhere to be found.
Everyone may hear my broken English.
Never mind. This is not about English grammar class. This is a communication ethics class, Baika. Never mind. Go ahead. All right. Let me call Mas Adi here. Mas Adi, can we start the meeting, or we should still wait for a couple of minutes? Mas Adi, are you there? Oh, I think I should do this personal message to him first. Okay.
So it's not obligatory to show the student faces. Yeah.
To do what?
Okay. People start showing their faces now.
Oh, they will be. They will be. We haven't started the class.
Okay.
But seeing the weather, I think many people would be turning off their cameras.
Yeah.
They look so young and fresh, right?
Yeah. I know.
Such great spirit.
Yeah. That's what excites me actually when I'm invited to to share knowledge or just do a lecture to meet this wonderful young generation. Always excite me actually to learn about new stuff from them as well.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
looking forward to this afternoon session and learn more about their insights and what they know.
mhm. That's true. They always give this positive vibe that we have a bright future.
Yeah. I don't know, but I will keep that optimistic view, but I think it's relatively saner, yeah, to be optimistic nowadays amid all this, during the pandemic, the very stressful time for every one of us. Don't
Yeah.
you think? Like it's better to keep optimistic than this.
It's required. We have to be optimistic.
I know that's why. And when you are a mother, that I think.
Yeah, that's true. It's just you just have to.
Uh-huh.
There's basically no choice. So we have students, I don't know, all over Indonesia, I think, and also international students, and some of them are on their way to Jogja.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Jogja is a very nice city. I love to go back there
Yeah,
again
you
someday.
You
I
should.
don't know when and how.
Yeah, you should. Someday I think we will have this offline meeting, yeah, Mbak Monik, hopefully with the conversation of Indonesia.
Wow, that would be great.
And we also have 2 international students, Mbak Ika.
are very lucky today because we have a guest, and she's a very wonderful person and hard to find. So she's Ika Krismantari, and she will be joining us, and she will be sharing with us her experience. And Ika Krismantari is an award-winning journalist, okay? And she has 15 years of experience, and she has gotten her master's degree in journalism and international relations from Monash University, Melbourne. And she is working currently in the Conversation Indonesia. But before that, she was in Jakarta Post for 12 years. So, well, that's amazing. And well, you can find her bylines in Kompas.com. You can find her also in South China Morning Post. You can find her in Jakarta Post, basically everywhere. She's a great writer. If maybe you probably have already read her pieces, but I will let her introduce herself, and she would also share her experience. And I hope that we will have a fruitful discussion through this meeting to start off our half of the semester, when we're going to be talking about communication ethics in practice. Okay, so Ika, I will give the time to you. Please do enchant us as you always do.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Monique, for the very nice introduction, actually. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure for me to be in this class because, like I mentioned earlier, that I always treasure the opportunities to share knowledge with others, yeah, especially with students, because I believe that this opportunity also, in a way, the opportunity for me to also gain new insights and new knowledge from you guys. So that's why, that being said, I would like to have probably a more interactive discussion with you during this afternoon, yeah. So you may, it's not me who is talking from the start and from start until the end, because I'm hoping that you also can share your question, or you can just interrupt if you see that you don't really understand what I'm going to say. Yeah, just be I don't know, just be as because Mbak Monique said that it's a very active class, so I'm hoping to get many questions from you guys here. And this afternoon we'll talk about ethics, specifically in journalism, because like I've been a journalist for, like Mbak Monique said, 15 years. I worked for the Jakarta Post for 12 years. I don't know if you can guess my age now, but yeah, 12 years is, yeah, it's a long time. I know. But yeah, now I join.
Recording in progress.
I'm joining now. I'm working for the Conversation Indonesia. I don't know how many of you heard about this organization. It's an online media platform for academics and researchers to somehow share their knowledge to general audience, basically. So the editors at the Conversation Indonesia basically help these researchers and academics to share their research in a easy to understand language for the general audience. We can say that. And yeah, so we just start. May I share the, wait, I need to find my slide first. So yeah, can you now see the slide?
Yes, it
Yes,
is
we can
for.
see it.
So yeah, please, if anyone has question, or just let me know, or probably Zam or Mamoni can help me, just interrupt me. Okay, so before we go further, I just want to know, I just want to see, understand how, your understanding about this topic. So can we just discuss it? what do we know about ethical journalism? Probably anyone has, comments or opinion about this? Or probably you can just share, the latest example or the latest, okay, there's one, I think, it's pointing her hand, raising her hand actually. Please, Mesa, could you share your thoughts about this?
Yes, hello, Mbak Ika.
Hi.
Maybe I want to share my perspective on ethical journalism. I think it's about like giving a fair sense of perspective towards your readers. So it's not only appealing to what the reader's highest interest, but also your interest as a journalist and how you deliver your story in a way that does not convey your own message and your
Oh,
own
okay.
subjective experience.
So
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Maisky. So it's about perspective, you say. It's about
Yes.
perspective, you say. But it's not. I want to know more. But how do you deliver this perspective? Like, does ethic also has to do with it?
I think it's about like not sometimes when we think about journalism, it's kind of like sort of like perspective on who is the one who's wronged and stuff like that, right? But so I
Yeah.
think that when you're put in perspective of like how what is wrong in a sense and how can that person be wronged exactly, and you know, like the sort of implication in like the system that makes the people kind of wrong is like, how do you present that in a way to readers that aren't aware of that kind of system and process? But that's what I think.
Okay, okay. We can discuss it later. I think I will discuss this about, being to be able uh, to deliver a message or your perspective to the readers more. Okay, I think I don't know if like I'm concerned with this student from Myanmar and the Philippines. Like when we say Mbak, this it refers to some kind of like a big sister, yeah. So yeah, it's just and yeah, how we say in Japanese actually Mbak. So it's like big sister. Just
We
want.
have two more Ika that
Oh,
raised their hands. We have Naga and Gadis.
okay, that's good. Who else then, please?
Hello, Mbak Ika.
Hi, Naga. I like your name, Naga.
Thank you, Mbak. So, actually, about the question, I think, what is the ethical journalism is the journalism. The firstly, is who follow the code of ethic, for example, code of ethic, because journalists have a code of ethic, right, Mbak? And also, like, when we are a journalist, the second is like when we are journalists and we have a discussion with the sources person, yeah, Mbak. When the sources person say it have to off the record, yeah, uh, the journalists have to follow that, yeah, Mbak. And then what I want to say about ethical journalism is journalism who only work as the main point of journalism. The main point of journalism in my knowledge. But firstly, I'm very sorry if I'm wrong, ya, Mbak. I'm very sorry if I'm wrong, but in my knowledge,
Naga.
the main job of journalism is to deliver the information to the public, and
Okay.
it has to be neutral. So the most
Okay.
ethical is the journalist who deliver the information, but is neutral, not memihak
The discussion
one
about
another.
neutrality is sort of like, it's much highly debated in journalism actually currently, when I believe that I think a journalist has to, I don't know about being objective. I think it's questionable principle that we also need to raise currently when, when we are living in a time where so many going wrong. So I think it's, I don't know. It's yeah, it's important to discuss as well. But yeah, I don't want us to go further from this topic now. But yeah, I think I get your point, Naga. It's just it's like what I get from your understanding is basically a rule like. Code of ethics is a rule, some kind of rule that the journalists have to uphold when they are doing their job. Is that so? Yeah.
Yes, Mbak. Like that,
Okay.
Mbak.
Okay. And I mean, to follow up May's opinion previously, I think it's also related. Where I think it's not a matter of what they are doing. So basically, code of ethics basically it's not about what they are doing. Like they have to share perspective. Uh, they have to share news, write articles. They have to report about something. But it's about how do they do it. Basically that. Okay, I've given you some hints there, but yeah, let's hear from the others before we move to the other slide. Does anyone? Probably just one more, yeah?
Yeah, I think we have Gadis, Mbak Ika. Gadis, please.
Yes, so hello Mbak Ika.
Yeah.
The first impression that I get about ethical journalism is about accuracy and verification, because I agree to what Meisha said. Journalists create articles and stories to not satisfy the readers, but is also to inform the actual thing that is happening.
Okay. Thank you. But probably, Gadis, could you probably on the top of your mind, could you give us example what referring to the latest articles, I don't know, or posts on media that you see that is ethical or unethical? Probably you can share. Do you have anything on top of your mind? Or anyone, please.
Ika, we have two more
Okay.
raising
probably
hands.
The next one can give us example.
Yes, Nachua?
Yes, I think it is important to prevent victims of crimes from being victimized more in the press. For example, like the latest Perundungan KPI, I read something news and the victim their names are being like anonymous, so like the press are using fake names while reporting the news. So I think I want to add. Thank you.
Okay, that will be a great example of how basically journalists are working based on a code of ethics. Yeah, thank you, Najwa. So yeah, if we move to the other.
One more, Ika.
Okay, one more. So
sorry, Prabhu, please. You don't have to put down your hands, please. Do say something.
No, I just want to answer the first question about what do you know about ethical journalism. I think the first thing that came out from my mind is firstly is like the act of journalism that strives to give a lot of and high integrity, like giving factual information as also accuracy, as what Meisha has mentioned before. And I guess relating to what Gadis has mentioned before about the news, there are now a lot of journalists that acts somewhat unethical, leaning towards
one probably.
Maybe I don't know if this is unethical or not, but
okay.
But like if like in the news in like BBC and Huffington Post, they are one-sided to like the left wing, and then the right wing, and then it's the information they give is really biased. Yes, although it has like a high integrity, but the information they give is really biased towards a one winger.
Even though they have like a valid reason why they do it.
Yes, even though they have a valid reason, but I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's not ethical because it's still subjective, not that objective, because they still leans toward a certain ideology, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I think the discussion about objectivity, about being impartial, about being neutral about something, it's debatable, and we can discuss it like maybe in another session. I think it will be interesting. But yeah, okay, because I have my own opinion about that, because I believe that right now no journalist should be neutral. That's my opinion, because journalists have to have a voice, Like you have to enlighten people in a way, like you do have that mission of also, and we need to do it responsibly. That's the most important thing. Okay.
Yes, I do agree with that, Mbak. Like
Okay, but yeah,
journalists
that's
has
not the
their
topic actually.
yeah,
Okay.
journalists has also their standpoint, right? But
Yeah, okay, that's good. Prabu, yeah, Prabu. Okay, next, wait. So basically, code of ethics in journalism is basically this: the principle and values that we can say guide journalists in their work. So they can do good work and being responsible to the society, and what makes them professional. Like you can also find it in other profession, as the topic of this course about communication, ethics in communication field. Like we can see from maybe PR agency, or they also have probably code of ethics. And but now in this one that probably differentiate from other non-professional ones, like this code of ethics are the one who differentiate probably doctors from shaman, or probably psychologists from, I don't know, friends who always listen to your problems every day. And then probably also in terms of journalism, then code of ethics are the ones who differentiate journalists with, we can say, bloggers or social media influencers. These values, these are the ones who guide us in our work. Yeah. Okay. And then, so the next question is then, why do journalists need to adhere or to follow this code of ethics? Like anyone, please? Okay, Florencia raising her hand.
Hi, Mbak. I want to answer this question. So yeah, other than what you have said earlier, that code of ethics for journalists is what separates professional journalists and random people on the internet and random blogs.
People,
yeah, random media on the internet.
Put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of people who consider themselves a journalist nowadays. Meanwhile, they're just random people on the internet, right? Just having stuff on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. Other than that, I do think that code of ethics of journalism is, it prevents journalism to create a bigger problem than it already has, because in the code of ethics there's this one quote, I think, that mengatur journalists to be objective, like Prabu have said earlier. So I think that when journalists, especially when professional journalists did not adhere to this code of ethics, the problem that is already the main problem that they are reporting can be bigger and bigger, because people are going to be, because their news is going to provoke a lot of people to comment and to make the problems bigger. So yeah, what I'm saying, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I mean,
it's okay.
Actually, if I'm being honest, I'm currently fangirling because you are like this very great journalist, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah. So
I get your point, Florencia. I get your point, and I think there's one important take from your explanation is that we need this, journalists need this to somehow help them, to avoid bigger problems for their work, because somehow their works also relates to the public, right? What they are reporting, what they are publishing, it has impact to the society, and I agree with that. Okay, anyone else has a say in this? Wait, there are two, Grace and Emily's. Is that correct?
Yes, Mbak Emiles.
Emiles, okay.
I want to answer. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think I agree with you and
Once
Aliza.
again, there is no right or wrong in this discussion. We are learning each other, okay?
Okay, I think if like the difference between like real journalists and like normal people, if like the real journalists, they do follow and adhere to the code of ethics, so they become like they're like more reliable and trusted with from the public like that. But I think that's why it's important to adhere the code of ethics.
Yeah, these are very spot on, Emily's. Yeah, you are basically right. Yeah. So why do we need to follow this code of ethics? It's because like journalism basically, work to gain trust from the public, and they have to also, you can say, kind of like build credibility. Like it's no use, yeah, for a media if they don't have trust, or they don't have the credibility from the public, yeah. So this why code of ethics are very important, because yeah, these two things that actually journalism are based on. Yeah. Is there any question on that, or it's clear enough? Yeah, journalism is based on these two values that is important, so we sort of like guide them with this code of ethics, I believe. Well, if there's no question, then I can just move on to this one. So there are several things that we have to know about code of ethics in journalism. I don't know, maybe our friends from other countries may also share, but sorry, what did I do? I just pressed something. So wait, this should be work right now. Yeah. So these codes are they vary between countries. So like in UK they have their own, and US they have their own, and also Indonesia we also have one. It's issued by the Press Council. Yeah, they want press, and they also vary between journalism association in Indonesia. We do have PWI, Indonesian Journalists Association, and also IG, Indonesian of Independent Journalists in Indonesia, and SJP is association based in the US actually. So they issue their own code of ethics, to sort of like guide the journalists that are members of this association. I don't know in Myanmar, yeah, I'm not really familiar with that, but yeah, because like the press freedom is very limited. I don't know, I'm not really sure about this, but maybe a friend from Myanmar can share later on. And apart from that, so we see also that this code of ethics, so media sometimes they also issue their own code of ethics. Like I've known that the New York Times has their own, and then BBC and the Guardian also, they have their own. So it's different between one media and the other. But actually, despite these differences, what did I do? I think there are common principle, yeah, we can find in this different code of ethics. There are these shared values that we can find in this code of ethics. The first one is report truth. When we hear in a movie, to tell the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth. That's kind of like reminds me of this, the first principle of reporting in journalism. So yeah, that's basically like the most common value that we usually see in code of ethics in every country, in every media, and every journalism association. And there's also independent here. independent here means that the journalists are free from any interest, whether it's political or commercial. That this what independent means here. And there's also the last thing is minimize harm. This is what I say when I remember that one of you mentioned about how it is important to, you know, to not mention the names of victims, right? Even though, you know, like we have to tell the truth, like to tell the whole truth, right? But we do have consideration when we publish something to the public, whether this also has impact, like, you know, harming some people. So we do have to take this consideration, because before we publish stories, we have to take into account the impact of what our story is gonna be to the public. And we also have to really have consideration on, you know, and we have to, in a way that we have to consider that the sources that we are using in our story, they are human beings that also need protection and respect, that we have to treat them with respect. Those basically three main principle or shared principle that we usually encounter in code of ethics across countries, medias, and journalism association. Does anyone have question on this before we move further? No? All good? Yeah, okay. And then one thing, wait, what did I do? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay. I just repeated one again. So journalism code of ethics evolve over time. Does anyone know what does it mean? What does it mean about with evolve? Probably want to take a guess. Okay, Naga, dragon. Yeah.
Lomba, I think the mean of thinking is uh like like this time and in the future, yeah, the culture of Indonesia, yeah, maybe the core is the same, but there is like a little bit change, yeah, but and also the trend, yeah, but the trend and also the condition is always change, but so I think journalism ethic is follow the period or zaman, yeah, but so
Yeah.
like from this until this, so it will be changed, yeah, it will be changed over time, but not so we the code of ethic that applied now it's belum tentu, I'm sorry for using Indonesia, but belum tentu used in the future, but I think like that, but
Okay.
thank you, Mbak.
That's great. Okay. Maybe another one from Luisa.
Yeah, but I'm sorry for not turning on my camera because
Okay.
my Wi-Fi is kind of bad because it's raining here. I think I really agree with Naga. I think especially now that technology advances and a lot of journalists begin to utilize social media and then publishing news online. I think there needs to be an evolve in the journalism code of ethics, because even though like in general the practice may be the same, but there are like little things that might be changes, because now journalists can obtain news in such a short period of time, because everything just goes around the internet really quick. And as we all know, digital footprint aren't easy to not aren't easy, they cannot be erased, it's always there. So I think that's another reason why journalism code of ethics will surely evolve over time. So yeah, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Luisa. Anyone else? Probably one more.
To Nadi, why won't you just speak rather than chat?
Oh, really? There's a chat
Yes.
coming. Okay.
Tun, please say something to Mbak Ika. We'd like to hear you.
Hello, Mom Ika. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Okay.
I also think that the journalism code of ethics is evolving over time because it's also include the advanced technology. Because like Azara mentioned that there are also many random people who wrote down the news and then thinking themselves as the journalists. So I think the journalism cover art is evolving over time, and then we need to revise over time. Yeah, that is what I think. Thank you.
Okay, Tun, thank you. I think your answer and Louisa are very spot on in this case, because yes, technology really affects on how this code of ethics are formulated actually. Yeah, because yeah, the impact of technology is massive. Like probably I can just share you example. Yeah, when I was working for the Jakarta Post, like we do have this policy to, to issue a correction when we are we are publishing something incorrectly, right? So we do have to publish correction the day after, because like on print media, we can't do anything until the morning when we publish the new edition, right? So we publish the correction the next day. But now, under the fast-paced environment where social media is are everywhere, and where the articles have been updated like in seconds, like the correction must be published immediately, right? This is one basic example that I can share here. Like the conversation has also sort of like created our guidelines, editorial guidelines, and we also mentioned this, how the importance to publish correction immediately, because like we believe that it's important, to, like I say before, to maintain trust and the media's credibility, right? Yeah. And I do have one follow-up question with Tun, actually, if you guys don't mind. Tun, do you in Myanmar, do you have this code of ethics for your journalists there?
I think that there is cover ethics for journalism, but I have never heard of that because I don't have any much knowledge related with journalism. But I don't think that like many it is not that um obvious that many journalists follow the code of ethics, and then they are also like here is there has a code of ethics in journalism. I have never heard of that, but I believe that there will be the code of ethics related with the journalism.
Okay, so but there is no freedom of press, right, in Myanmar now? Like,
Yes,
I believe that.
yeah, we can see like that.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for sharing, Tun. Yeah, is there any question with this? If not, we can just go to the this one on paper and versus reality, because like when we are discussing code of ethics, it's different. Yeah, when they discussing these values on paper, this seems like perfect, and yeah, we have to follow it no matter what. But based on my experience, it's not as easy as people think, because like, for example, when you go to the field and you find your fellow reporters, probably they don't share the same values, then you are being challenged, right? When you need to somehow working together on the field with and face on how they probably, you see it with your own eyes, how they, that they violate this code of ethics, and you can't really do anything. Or probably you're facing your bosses or your editors that probably don't share the same values, and that it's wrong. It's not easy, really. And yeah, I myself encountered this so many times, but fortunately, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I only have one issue with this code of ethics problem, actually, where basically it's because this one official, like one day like they send this protest letter, yeah, on with regard to uh, one of my articles. So it's basically it's different experience, yeah, when you're experience it is yourself gitu. When suddenly an email protest came to you, it's quite shocking for me, and I was at the time confused, like I don't know what did I do wrong, like so many questions. So yeah, probably I can share you some tips that probably beneficial for you, like when you're yeah, you need to work, like as a journalist you need to work with code of ethics, but probably one thing that I can share with you here, like is when you're encountering these problems, like it's better to consult with your bosses, because journalism, like as a journalist, you represent your media, right? And it's somehow like journalism is basically a collective work. Remember that. Because when an article is published, it's based on a collective agreement. Like there is an editorial meeting who decide what is published and what is not. And there's also an editor who decide, what words or what quotes should be included. So it's better to I mean, if you're not if you're unsure and you don't know what to do, just consult with your bosses, because like if something wrong happen, at least you're not alone in this. Yeah. And the second one, probably, yeah, it's better to consult also with journalist association as well, because yeah, I know that not all media good are good, like they don't really share the same principle, right? uh, like probably some media with uh, it's very sensitive actually. Like some media who probably, yeah, justify all kind of means to get stories, like when reporters they somehow force reporters to get sensationalized stories. Some media do that, and if you're in this condition, yeah, I suggest you to also consult with journalist association, because you're facing with your own media organization, right, with your own bosses. So yeah, it's also advisable to also consult with journalist association. I believe AJI, one of journalist association in Indonesia, also offer this kind of consultation. I think those are my two tips that I can share with you by far, yeah, based on my experience. And yeah, now it's time to, yeah, let's discuss more. If you have any question, I will be very happy to answer. But yeah, just keep in mind, I don't have all the answers. So yeah, at least we can discuss it together, right?
Thank you, Mbak Ika. I was going to, oh my God, we are running out of time. And I was like, oh no, can we? No, okay. Well, yes, I have to remind the class that we have a very limited time. And I know that Mbak Ika is such a fun person to talk to. But okay, we have four raised hands. And we also have a question from the WhatsApp group as well. I will let Figo, and then let's just gather the questions first, okay? So we'll have four of them at a time, okay? Figo, Meisha, then Florencia, Azela, and then Farhan, okay? So please, Figo.
Hello, Mbak Ika and everyone in the class. My name is Vijo, and I have a question regarding the current media business model, which sometimes contradicts the value of journalism ethics. And since I am working for one of the mainstream media in Indonesia, I actually encounter a contradict of what is happening right now, and that's actually hardened me in doing my workloads as well, because I know for a fact that my company serve clients including NGO and private sectors, and they paid us to push an issue into trending topics, which obviously benefits their interests, our client interests, and sometimes it creates trivialization on the news, and yeah, it entertains the people. But once the client cut off their contract with us, the news will be disappear, and this issue will be like hanging around without no solution. And it's very sad for me because I cannot do anything about it, and I only can do what they told me to do and what they told me to write, and yeah, some kind of like that.
Yeah, I
The
know.
situation, and
I know the feeling.
yes, so I actually I'm asking for a solution, and
Okay,
from you, since you are also a journalist yourself.
Yeah, okay. Basically, I'm facing the same problem actually with this, in this, should I answer directly or we want to gather all the question first? Yeah, sorry.
It's okay, but I would rather gather the questions
Okay,
because
okay,
it could
it's
be
okay.
quite long.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, Meisha, please.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I hope I'm not lagging. Okay. Thank you so much, Mbak Ika and Mbak Monique, for the opportunity. I'd like to ask, as someone who doesn't, I'm not really a big fan of the journalistic field. But I want to know your perspective. Starting out, I don't think being in a journalistic environment is quite hard. But now with OITE and all that stuff, when you first started, why did you decide you want to be a journalist, Mbak Ika? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, interesting question. Okay, Florencia, Azela, please.
All right, so yeah, I want to ask this question. I want to ask regarding the recent but not so recent phenomenon, which is about Project Multatuli and their rape case news article. And I think that all of us here are already familiar with that. So I'm not going to explain the news article, but what I want to point out is this beautiful phenomenon of solidarity among many journalists and media after a certain account tried to silence Project Multatuli, right? So basically what I see is literally multiple various media, from the big ones like Kompas, Tempo, and then until the little ones like Asumsi, Remo TV, and even our very own press organization, Balerum UGM. They are all republishing the report by Project Multatuli and then promoting it also. And what I see from that is all of these media really support Project Multatuli as journalists, and the differences between media and their own agenda is not visible here. So and I'm actually currently writing about this phenomenon for Komako UGM, for the Student Organization and Communication Science UGM. So what I want to ask is what is your opinion regarding this solidarity through the perspective of communication ethics, and why is the solidarity is not happening between journalists previously and on daily basis? Why does a certain party has to silence one media first, and then the other journalists started to support this media? So yeah, and also I would like to ask, can I quote you in my article for Komako UGM or yeah? Yeah,
Okay,
that's my question. But thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, the questions are getting harder. Okay, Farhan, please.
Could you help
Hello,
me
Mbak.
answering the question?
Yeah, please, Farhan.
Okay. Hello, Mbak. First off, thank you so much for facilitating this very incisive presentation. So my question is with regard to the code of ethics, specifically the gravity of which it carries. Because as you mentioned before, they're different from nation to nation, right? Like you have the SPJ in the US and whatnot. And I do think that that sort of adherence to these codes of ethics is often overlooked because they're so wide, while they're following the three main guidelines that you mentioned before, like minimizing harm and whatnot. So if we just consider them to be guidelines, not followed exactly by neutrality, but instincts and a wide encompassing concept. Also, not to mention, I'm not sure how it's seen here, but at least in the US, in the SPJ, these codes are not legally enforceable, right? I think so. So I don't know how that's seen here. So my question is, how much of that outside of like the Journalism Association would hold journalists liable to their activities, and like how much does it protect them as well? I think that's my question. Thank you so much, by the way.
Okay, that's a very great question, actually. Farhan, thank you.
Okay, Ika, you can answer. Do you need to me to
No, I think
resume the
I have to take some notes, actually.
But Ika and Monique, also, so sorry for interrupting you. I think we also have one more questions, Monique, through WhatsApp group.
All right, I'm really sorry. Okay, one more.
Yeah.
And the questions gets harder, Ika. So this is from Aurelia, and she can't be online because she's traveling to Jogja right now. And her question is, quote, "I do have a question for Mbak Ika. We once talked about feminist ethics in which equality of both men and women is upheld. As a woman working in journalism, a work field known to be unfriendly for women and some, has there any movement in the conversation or Jakarta Post where gender equality is preserved or basically breaking the known stereotype? If there is, could you perhaps elaborate? Thank you."
Oh, okay. Thank you. Who is that from?
Aurelia.
Aurelia, okay. Okay. Yeah, got it. And then Farhan. So can I start answering then? The first question comes from Pigoya about this business models, pursuit of many, like we can say now under the online environment, like this, the classic business model where media usually depend on commercial, right? Then we have to sort of be creative because like commercial don't really support the media operation currently, like the commercial rates are plummeting. Yeah, that's why we need to be creative, and somehow it also affect on how media operates here. It's interesting that you are working for Mata Najwa. We do have this conversation as well in the conversation. Actually, a pun intended, actually. Well, we do have a conversation, discussion in the conversation about how we run the business actually. But this, I think it's also important to because like I know media needs money, right? To operate their operation, to be sustainable, right? For their operation in the future. But money is important, but the core of media business is not about that. It's about trust. It's about credibility. What do you think happened when readers then see so many commercial, like so many, you can see it on their own eyes that so many conflicted interests on your media, like they will question, right, the credibility of this media in a way. And I don't think that it's wise, to risk this trust, the public's trust and your media credibility just only for money. Do you get my point, right? So I don't know, like how can we do that? I mean, you balance things out between finding funds for your organization and still come up as you can maintain your public's trust and your credibility among the public. It's a 1 million question, I can say. So yeah, I think it's rather sad if you just if a media just look for this short-term benefit. Just when I'm doing this, when I accept partnership with this organization, I have several money for this project, but I put my credibility at risk, right? I think it's not a wise option, because you have to think long term, and the long term business, the focus and the foundation of all journalism is trust, and you cannot violate it actually, right? I think that's my question for Figo. I hope it answers your question. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't have a solution for your problem. But that is basically that I can share. Yeah. So just let maybe Mata Najwa know that it's not advisable probably to put your trust at risk, the trust of from the public at risk with all your what you are doing now probably. And the next question is about Undang-Undang ITE. I don't know if it's a tune, and then the student from Philippines is familiar with this. Is basically a law issued by the government to sort of like silence the dissidents, right? Like to silence the critics, or not only from the government side but also publics, right? If if a person dislike the other person and they do something unfavorable of this person, and then they can just report and use this law to basically put them in jail. So basically this law do that. And well, when I was a journalist, I don't think we have this UIT, so I don't really think about it at the time. Yeah, but one thing for sure, like journalism work is protected with what we know as a freedom of press, right? So basically, if we want to report anything, this is the importance of code of ethics. If you're doing it all by rules, you basically are fine. You don't need to worry about this law, or because you are protected. But just make sure that you adhere to all the ethics, the code of ethics. You follow all the rules. You cover both sides. You get all in records. You have records. You don't harm people intentionally. You are being independent and you tell the truth, and you are fine. And there will be used against you, basically. Yeah, I hope that answer, Melissa. And Florencia on Project Multatuli. What happened with Project Multatuli? Even though I must say that the conversation is not really involved in this solidarity, because we do have, like I mentioned before, we only publish analysis from academics and scientists, researchers, so we can't really republish the stories. But I'm amazed actually, and I'm hopeful with the future of our journalism actually, with this solidarity. And why this happening now, I don't know. I'm just taking it as a good sign for what is happening in the future. Like this moment, we are facing, like I can say, a big enemy. I don't know, like you might hear that the democracy in Indonesia is in decline. Like we are going towards this authoritarian, right? And we do have not. I don't think that we can fight it. We can't really fight it. But with this solidarity, I do have hope in this. This is one way on how we fight this mighty beast, right? Together. I think that's, and I'm looking forward to more solidarity in the futures. And I'm optimistic that what Project Multatuli started is a good sign for us. Yeah, I hope that answers Florencia. Now, Farhan, I know that it's not legally enforced, but in a way that if as far as I know, maybe I don't know, yeah. If like journalism are not doing their work based on this code of ethics, they can be in trouble, right? They can be protested, they can be reported. That's why I know it's not legally enforceable, but it is suggested, yeah. Because if not, your career as a journalist may be in jeopardy. I can say that. Like if you're not covering both sides, or you're not being independent. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Bob Woodward. You know, do I get the name correct? Bob Woodward. Do you no? You're not familiar? It's a well, it's quite an old story actually. He is a Washington Post journalist. He covers the Watergate scandal. These big stories back in the 70s. Well, in his story, led to the resignation of Richard Nixon, the U.S. president from Republican Party. And then what Bob did, so he sort of like show how he goes extra mile to show his independency. So after the report, he's like showing that he has no political affiliation and he doesn't vote because like the story led to President Nixon resign, right? That's why then he's showing that he's independent in writing the story, and he's showing that he's not voting in election. That's one way, one example that I remember from your question. I don't know if it's answer your question, Farhan. I do answer, yeah. And the feminist code of ethics, you mean, Aurelia? Well, actually, I just finished research on female leadership in media organization in Indonesia. It's quite an interesting finding that I gather, but it is interesting, you know, how I also, so I interview 250 journalists from more than 100 organizations across Indonesia. And I found that it's interesting on how these female journalists in media organization are somehow they are promoting gender equality in their workplace. Like I can share like from the conversation side. So even though that most of our editors are men, the top leading position are led by women, and I'm one of them. And we are very, very considerate when it comes to our gender policy. Like, for example, we do have menstruation leave. We do give that. And we do have paternal leave. We also give paternal leave to new fathers. Yeah. Or for those who have their second or third child. Yeah, we do also have that one. So that's basically, and I also can share that I also experienced the same thing at the Jakarta Post. We do have adopt this menstruation policy from the Jakarta Post, who also gave me 1 day leave if I'm in my period. So yeah, I can see that. Yeah, we are trying. It's not, well, it's still a long struggle, but from my research and from what I'm experiencing myself in my news organization, I think we are going toward a better condition, hopefully, yeah. Okay, Aurelia, I think that's my last comment, probably. Does anyone?
Thank you, Ika. I would like to give opportunities for Figo and Meisha, Azela, Farhan, and Aurelia if they would like to respond from the answers for Mbak Ika. Do any of you would like to respond back?
Can I?
Okay, let's start with Figo. I'm sorry, Azela, after Figo. Okay, please, Figo.
I'm sorry for not raising my hand first, but thank you, Baika, for the answer. It's very insightful, and yeah, I know. And I tried to communicate the problem with my boss, but they like.
Yeah.
we are serving a.
Just try, right?
Yeah. So at least I've tried, but the thing is, but our client is actually great. They are great. They are like NGOs. They are like NGOs, and they move for environmental issues and stuff like that. But the thing is, they ran out of money, but and their issues are disappearing from our headlines because we don't get paid from them, and it's very sad because how did this NGO can still get the exposure that they should get without us? And yeah, but I still cannot like have the solution for them, and I just explained to them that it's very hard in this current time if we serve our commercial clients without being paid and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. It's like I mentioned before, it's a $1 million question, yeah, that nobody has the answer. Like, what is the perfect business models for media organization in this online era where when you have to find money but you also have to maintain trust and credibility? It's just it's a tough question that I don't think that any media has the answer right now. But I believe that like I mentioned before, putting trust and credibility is very important. It's the foundation of journalistic work, and you should not violate it.
Okay, Azela, would there was something you'd like to respond back?
Okay, but so actually, about my question earlier, what I really wonder is that the solidarity between journalists and media and various media. I mean, will this only exist when they have this common enemy, or and then when they're not, and when they don't have a common enemy, they'll go back into chasing their own personal agenda, because I do think that every media has their own personal agenda. Every media has their own bias, right? And is this solidarity, are they just going to be solid when they have this common enemy, or do you think that there is another way, or is there another opportunity for all media and journalists in Indonesia to to be solid for the greater purpose and not for their own personal and media bias, that's my question, Mbak.
So in a way that when you talk about solidarity, it means that you have to sort of like align your mission with the others, right? So I think it's more strategic. I don't know if you have the common purpose with the others, right? Before you are doing something, I think it's a very strategic one. If we do have the common enemy to fight for, that's a good start. But I do hope that in the future, probably in a very sectoral approach, that we can see that probably media focusing on gender have created their own solidarity in a way to fight this, I don't know, gender inequality probably, or media focusing on human rights. They do have their agenda that they can start with. They can work together to deal this issue together. I hope, yeah, we are going into that direction in the future. But now, having this common enemy is very strategic, yeah, for having all media with different interests, with different focuses, probably. Yeah, finally together, hand in hand, publishing one story, and it's a wonderful, and I hope to. I'm looking forward to have another more in the future. Yeah, hopefully, it's a good start, basically. Azela.
Okay, Mbak, thank you so much.
Okay, Meisha, would you like to respond back?
Yes, but actually, I'm really sorry. Are we running out of time, but
we are very close to running out of time, but please do share.
Basically, I missed like half of your answer, but I'm so sorry. My internet was lagging, and I'm currently like using my phone. I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I forgot what that answer to you. Yeah. So basically, if you are doing your journalistic work based on rules, you follow the code of ethics. There's nothing to be afraid of. You don't need to worry. Like if you just reporting the truth, you are being independent, and you don't minimize the harms to other people. You basically safe. You don't need to worry about undang-undang ITE. Actually, that's my my answer, basically.
Okay,
okay,
Meisha, is that okay?
That's okay. Thank you so much, Ma. I'm so sorry once again.
It's fine. Okay, we still have a little bit more time. Can we do we have any more questions? Most probably just maximum 2 questions.
I think Farhan has a follow-up question. Don't you?
Oh, I don't have a follow-up. I just felt bad. I didn't respond because I completely understood your answer. And I think it was very concise. And it was also super important because we had journalism class in our past semesters, and the topic of these code of ethics as parameters to ensure journalists' safety and liability. It's still a very contentious area of topic, at least. So yeah, I do have like one comment though regarding personally, maybe in another session, I would love to hear about neutrality and objectivity, because you kept mentioning things like
that.
Yeah, you kept mentioning.
I don't know when do we have that, but it's okay. Yeah. It's interesting to discuss about that, because like I mentioned before, like it's like journalism has. Journalists have to have mission. For personally, they don't have, because like when you report something and you come up with, just make sure that everybody gets their portion of saying something. Like it will end up like he say and she say. It's no point, right, for the society. Like it will be just, I don't know, it will be useless. I believe that journalism has a bigger purpose than that, just reporting on something. You have to take stand, right? But yeah, of course, you have to do it responsibly, with responsibilities, right? When you have argument, or you have an opinion, or not opinion, like something that you have to say that may contradict the general public's voice, you have the data or research to sort of like back up your points, right? For example, like when we are talking about the sexual violence in Luwu, carried out by the fathers itself, like so it's like, imagine if like the journalist has no perspective on defending the the victims, right? It will be just report, just basically a report. But in this story, the story that I read, it goes more than that. Like there's a you can see the sense, right, where the articles takes its point, right? It's defending the victims, right? So that's basically what I want to see in journalism piece, actually. Yeah.
Okay, is that okay, Farhan? Okay, great. Okay, I will not open another question. I'm really, really, really sorry. I know you guys usually have more questions, but we do have to close the class because we have to close the live as well in YouTube. And but you guys could also, if you still have more questions, you could always put it up in Google Classroom or also in WhatsApp, in our group WhatsApp, and we would be, me and them would be gladly to forward those questions to Mbak Ika. We just need to hope that she has time to answer them, but we would gladly forward those questions to her. So if you do have those those questions boiling in your mind, you could always share. I will not try to, you know, what do you call this? Resume everything. I hope that what I can say is that there's a really an endless discussion actually, and also challenges that we would be going through, you know, obstacles when we are going to communication practices. Then I hope that it is something that we are going to explore more in this class till the end of the semester. But before I do close the session, I would like to ask just one statement from Ika Krismantari to end this class with you know, a fruitful spirit for the students. So this is
really
I would like
motivational speaker, Mbak. But yeah.
I would like to ask Ika Krismantari to give, you know, one or two statements on an advice. So this is very specific, on an advice, because you have studied journalism all your life, okay? For the students in you know, in IUP here, in DCOM here, advice in, you know, learning communication ethics and what you actually use, what you learn in universities to the practice that you find. So give me some words of spirit and advice, please, Ika.
Thank you, Monique. Actually, I firstly want to say thank you for these opportunities. Yeah, I enjoy it very much. The discussion is a very lively discussion, and I get so many insights from you guys. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward actually for another discussion, especially on the neutrality part. But yeah, maybe one, I don't know if I can call it an advice. Yeah, because currently I'm still learning. Yeah, at this point I'm still learning, and I can tell you that journalism and basically what excites me is that journalism is a lifelong process where you get a chance to learn everything, learn new stuff every day. I mean, and when related to code of ethics, basically when I started as a journalist, I don't really understand it. I mean, like, but I think in a way you are learning by doing. Like there's I don't know, sign that keep popping up, like it's in written, or the ones that are shared by your mentors or editors. Then this understanding of code of ethics is also a learning process that I have to go through, yeah, during my career as journalist. And don't get tired, because yeah, being a journalist, yeah, forces you to learn every day. I think that's all from me. Yeah.
Okay, Ika, thank you so much. So here's a journalist. No, all journalists comes with a mission, I guess. I think every human comes with a mission. It's not just journalists. Every human should come with a mission, right? Okay, well, I am going to close the class, but before we close the class, please do open your camera so we could have a photo session together and see your lovely faces. Okay, Mazam, will you be helping us?
Sure, on my count, Mbak Monique and all of you. Let me see. We are having 2 slides here, yeah? Let me see the second slides. All of you are now on. All right. Now the first slide. I'm going to invite you to give a reactions on the Zoom, yeah, as usual. So you can choose reactions, whatever you feel right now. Maybe you feel love, maybe you feel festive, or whatever you feel, all right? So please choose reactions wisely. And then on my count 3, 2, 1, I will capture this screen, okay? As usual. Now starting, choose your reactions. 1, 2, 3, pick your reactions. All right, look at the camera. 1, 2, 3, cheers. All right, slide number 1, done. Wait a second. Let's go to the second slide. The same instructions, okay, guys? Now, the second slide. Now, please pick your reactions. Go. All right, see to the camera. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, all done. Mbak Monique, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mazam. Thank you, class, for your participation. It's always wonderful to see you. Thank you, Ika, for your time and sharing with us. And we'll sure get some time more for objectivity and truth to share with this class. Okay, I'll be talking to Zam. Maybe we could, have a session there.
Sure.
But hopefully, yeah, we can get some time as well. So thank you very much for your time and your knowledge sharing with us. Thank you everybody for coming. And I will close this class with please stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next week. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mbak Ika.
Thank you very much,
Mazam.
Mbak.
Thank
you very much,
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Mbak Ika. Thank you, Mbak Monique.
Thank
See
you.
ya.